It's been 21 years and 24 entries into Star Wars canon since this game came out, and they still do not have a cooler trooper design than Delta Squad. Star Wars Republic Commando. Let's talk about it. Disclaimer before we get too deep into this video will include spoilers. I am here to talk about the full story. This game is also old enough to drink, so we are far outside the spoiler statute of limitations. Quick breakdown of how my reviews go. I will be discussing the characters, the conflict, the plot, and the world building, not necessarily in that order. And I'm going to give each of those categories a rank 1 through 5. So form up, Delta Squad. Let's do this. I'm going to do the plot and the conflict together for this one. The central plot of this game follows the player as Boss, the leader of an elite clone trooper commando unit called Delta Squad. After a quick introduction with Commando and Tan Wee explaining the origins of clone commandos, the story unfolds across 3 distinct missions that function as the game's 3 acts and take place throughout the Clone Wars. So let's take a look at those one at a time. Boss and the rest of Delta Squad, Fixer, Scorch, and Sev, are inserted separately into the Battle of Geonosis, which, of course, is the inaugural battle of the Clone Wars. Their mission is to hunt down and eliminate Geonosian Lieutenant Sun Fac before he can escape the planet. As Boss navigates across the battlefields of Geonosis, he rendezvous with each member of Delta Squad, and they storm Sun Fac's stronghold. As the Geonosian is escaping in his ship, Sev is able to down the ship with his sniper rifle, killing Sun Fac. Having completed their primary objective, Delta Squad's advisor informs them that a different commando squad was eliminated while trying to destroy a droid factory, and Delta Squad is being retasked to complete that objective. Delta Squad plunges into the underground droid factory and successfully disables the production of battle droids in the area. They are then retasked yet again with the objective of boarding a Separatist core ship and retrieving the ship's launch codes. Because if the Republic can get their hands on the codes, they can prevent the other Separatist core ships from escaping the assault by the main Republic force. Delta splits up inside the enemy ship, each destroying a different key function of the ship, before rendezvousing at the bridge and retrieving the launch codes that they came for. A chain reaction from Delta Squad's sabotage then destroys the ship as the commandos make their escape. The hectic nature of the Battle of Geonosis serves as a great introduction and inciting incident to a story told from the perspective of clones, which at the time hadn't really been done before. While experiencing a major in-universe event like the Battle of Geonosis as a clone is really cool, you do start to kind of feel like Shrek after a little bit, because I'm already on a quest. What do you mean I have a new objective? Over a year later, Delta Squad has been an incredibly effective and successful unit. Their advisor tells them that their former home base assault ship, the Prosecutor, has just reappeared after going missing for 2 weeks and is not responding. Delta is sent in to investigate. While recovering data from the different data cores throughout the ship, they discover that the ship has been taken over by Trandoshan slavers, who stole the ship to sell it to the Separatists in exchange for battle droids. Delta disables the jammer and the Prosecutor and learns from the advisor where the Trandoshan dropship is located in their ship, so they fight their way to the hangar and destroy the Trandoshan ship. Before Delta can celebrate expelling the Trandoshans from the Prosecutor, a Separatist battleship drops out of hyperspace and starts sending battle droid dispensers into the Prosecutor. Another Republic assault ship arrives and assists Delta in not only fighting off the droids, but destroying the enemy battleship, securing the sector, and reclaiming the Republic's stolen ship. The Prosecutor mission feels much more focused narratively. There's really great suspense with the Trandoshans hiding throughout the ship and at one point capturing Scorch and Sev. And taking place over a year into the Clone Wars, you get the sense that Delta has been grinding and building their reputation based on the way they behave with each other and the way other clones react to them. This mission really makes you feel like the elite trooper that Boss is. Nearly another full year after the Prosecutor, Delta finds themselves being secretly deployed into the jungles of Kashyyyk. The Wookiees sent out a call for help to the Republic, saying that they were under attack by Trandoshan slavers running a slave campaign across their planet, and their chieftain, Tarful, has been captured. Delta investigates the Trandoshan slave camps and discovers that General Grievous himself is on Kashyyyk to retrieve the captured Tarful. Upon discovering him, Delta moves quickly to attempt to capture or kill him, but General Grievous escapes, which allows Tarful to break free, and the droid general leaves Kashyyyk without the Wookiee leader. Tarful then provides intel that the Trandoshan slavers and the Separatists have an official alliance and are launching a full-scale attack on Kashyyyk. Delta decides to assist the Wookiees in repelling the Trandoshans and the droids. They fight through the capital tree city of Kachiro, encountering swarms of droids and Trandoshans and even Geonosians. They decide to make their way to 4 heavy AA turrets that are in different spots throughout the city to help destroy a separatist destroyer ship orbiting overhead. Delta splits up one at a time to man the turrets, and they successfully destroy the droid ship. As Delta Squad starts regrouping, Sev misses the rendezvous point. They manage to hear a static-filled transmission from Sev, who tells them that he has come under heavy fire and is trapped. Before Delta can go rescue Sev, the advisor radios in and tells Boss that they have to pull back immediately and they cannot risk going back for Sev. Boss, Scorch, and Fixer follow orders, leaving Sev behind. As the remaining members of Delta Squad fly away in a gunship, they see a massive Republic fleet deploying to Kashyyyk to combat the Trandoshan and droid invasion. Jedi Master Yoda sends out a call to all the Republic forces on Kashyyyk, saying to rendezvous with Delta Squad and that Wookiee freedom must not be sacrificed. And with that, the Battle of Kashyyyk begins, and the campaign of Star Wars Republic Commando ends. The final chapter of the game does a great job raising the stakes even more by throwing Delta Squad into the precursor of not only one of the largest battles of the Clone Wars, but the final battle of the Clone Wars. For the uninitiated, spoiler alert, Order 66 is sent out during the Battle of Kashyyyk. The structure of the plot overall follows a method called the Fichtean curve. Basically, instead of having a single plot line or crisis to slowly escalate and raise the tension of the story to the climax, there's several crises that get progressively worse as the narrative continues. The Fichtean curve structure then reaches the climax of the story, followed by the falling action, and concluding with a resolution. In this game, it's that feeling of quest after quest after quest until finally we reach the climax of the story where we fight off the droid and Trandoshan alliance on Kashyyyk. And we feel the falling action of Delta Squad unfortunately having to retreat and leave Sev behind, and then the resolution being Yoda's transmission. The resolution does feel a little unsatisfying because Yoda tells everyone that much hope rests on Delta Squad for the coming battle, but then you don't get to experience it, and Delta doesn't really get to deal with Sev's loss. The player character, Boss, is the leader of Delta Squad. He is voiced by none other than Temuera Morrison himself, who is the actor that portrayed Jango Fett and all of the clones in the films. Temuera Morrison has actually stated in the past that he believes Boss to be the closest clone there is to Jango Fett, which would explain the no-nonsense personality and his drive to complete his mission at any cost. Scorch is the explosives expert for Delta Squad. He's not only very good at this job, but he has an abnormal enjoyment of blowing things up. Scorch is also the heart of the squad, and he's always looking for a sarcastic or funny comment to make fun of the countless perilous situations that Delta Squad finds themselves in. His humor breathes life and light into the horrors of war that Delta is always in the middle of. Scorch is actually voiced by Raphael Esparge, who was already a significant member of the Star Wars universe, voicing Cartho Nassi in my personal favorite video game of all time, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Fixer is the second in command of Delta Squad. He is the slicer of the group, able to break into any computer system. He also very much subscribes to the mindset of good soldiers follow orders. His soldier mentality not even breaking when it comes to his brothers, as Fixer usually calls them and himself by their clone trooper number rather than their chosen names. Sev is the sniper and weapons expert in Delta Squad. He's arguably the strongest fighter of the group and was very intense. Sev may have been a terrifying individual to come across on the battlefield, but he joked with Scorch all the time and competed for who could get the most kills in a mission. He always kept a kill count on every mission that he was on. During the Battle of Kashyyyk, Sev is sadly left behind by the rest of Delta Squad after orders came through for them to retreat immediately. But his official fate is unknown, and he was considered missing in action, leaving the possibility of his return. It's easy to overlook the world building when looking at this game from 2026. But you've got to remember that this game was before the Clone Wars TV show, and it was even released before Revenge of the Sith. With that context, this game is also one of the first times we experience Star Wars from a non-Jedi point of view. Coming at hordes of battle droids, super battle droids, and droidekas turns into a whole different world when you're doing it without a lightsaber or the Force. This game also helps expand on the overall lore of Star Wars, bringing us to the Wookiee homeworld Kashyyyk and introducing us to the Wookiee leader Tarful, whose first appearance was actually in this game. The lore and story of Delta Squad is actually expanded even further in a novel series following the Commandos, which, as of right now, I have not read, but will probably be doing so soon. Star Wars Republic Commando is a classic in both Star Wars and gaming history. It's not a perfect story or game by any means, but it sticks with you. A large part of that may be the nostalgia, but come on, any gamer who says they wouldn't enjoy a Star Wars first-person shooter like this is a liar. And the artwork was so good that a lot of the designs still hold up today. I defy you to find a more awesome trooper design than the Delta Squad Commandos. If you want to watch my full playthrough of Republic Commando, you can catch that in my running back video that is linked in the comments. That is all from me today, folks. Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Star Wars character design of all time? Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.